This is my new HJ75. Let's check it out.
First thing to do was put this thing through its paces, see what it was capable of. Given the lad's not quite old enough to drive, the old man got to have all the fun. While it may be a couple more years before the lad gets handed the keys, that time will fly. So we've got to make the most of it now while we can. We're reminded how capable these old trucks are. This is an unlocked, standard suspension, no mods of any note. The old bus held its own, really. Looking forward to putting a set of tyres on that are all the same size and giving it a bit of love. I think it'll be unstoppable.
Oh.
Step ladder.
Should be used to that.
Almost walk under it now.
Now we'll take a dive under the car and have a squeeze. We've got a dodgy front prop shaft, and the unis are also got a little bit of movement in them. The rear main seal, I think is what it's called. Look, the rear main seal is leaking, I think, and it's coming out the little drain hole in the bell housing. The hole in the extractor. We've got both. What are these both? Oh, I've had a brain fade. What are they called? Oh, what are they called? Oh, what are they called? We've got both swivel hubs here. Have been leaking a fair bit of oil, although not oil, grease. Yep, grease. And it's been going on for a while. And this one's the worst one. It came from a puddle of oil just there. This is where we moved it from before. And it's already dripped onto the tyre from just before. So yeah, that's something we'll have to figure out. Right up in there, right there, we've got a leaking fuel filter. That might have something to do with a dodgy pressure relief valve, oil pressure relief valve. Might be wrong, but when they put this winch in, they certainly left no room to move. Ooh, it's a bit tight. The steering dampener will need replacing, we think. I don't know if that's supposed to happen. Probably been in there 40 years. The transfer case, yep, I remember what it is got a bit of leg. Suspect it's coming out of this big bolt up there. No idea what it's called. Back in the day with this rear prop shaft, someone's been playing funny buggers and put a cable tie on it. That would have been pretty funny. Oh, that's heavy. Right, under here we got the good old fashioned, a 2H. It's a 2H out of a 1985 HJ75. There are the custom extractors. Supposedly, they increase airflow. Is it air? Fume flow? Exhaust? Making the car go quicker. Had a new alternator put in the last service. It's on full extension, full adjustment to tighten that belt. Don't know if it's because it's the wrong belt. There's the top view of the leaky oil filter. Oil levels are absolutely chock-a-block. Couldn't be fuller if you tried. Look at that. Plenty of oil. So there are those air horns. The air horns that you would have seen. There's a little bit of a leakage going on here around the injectors. And I think there's a bit of moisture. Diesel, to be precise. I wonder how much coolant is in it. You probably can't see in there at all, but I do not believe there is a lot in there. There's been leakage around the top of the rocker cover. Don't know if that's just because it's pumping so much power, it just pushes the oil straight out. So the first modification we are doing to the car is changing the aroma to Supernova.
Why are you doing that?
Because it stinks. It smells like a dog.
Oh, this smells nice.
It smells like those soaps you get in the hotel. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Better already.
It actually is better already, yeah. So usually when mum or dad tells me to vacuum the car, I usually carry on, but for some reason I'm enjoying vacuuming this. Oh. One job that we need to do to the old girl, we need a name, is the seat belts. Like this one here doesn't wind in at all. The center seat belt, it's got a big somewhere. Where is it? Frayed a heap. That one, just might as well replace it while we're at it. And the clips are different, the buckles. So we got some things recently. Got all this. And right here, train tamer seatbelt kit. I suspect this is the middle seatbelt. I'm right, that's the middle. And those two are the side. First, we need to take out the old one. Looks like we only have to do one bolt. It was a 14, I think. Okay, yep, it is a 14. 14mm socket. Okay, that's the wrong one. Okay, that's loose as. Always keep the bolt, unless you know what's in the thing. The box of stuff you got to put back in it. There we go, here's the whole thing. Some dust in there. We have to undo 3 bolts, not 1. Now we'll go get the new one. Oh yeah, look at that. The clip. Now in the bottom, you got instructions. Don't need them. Joking. Read the instructions, you never know. It's probably torque specs for everything. Get back to you when I know what I'm doing. Oh, this thing's heavy.
What are you doing now?
Bolting the seats back in after putting these flash new seat belts in. Both sides, in the middle. That hurts your knees. Not too bad. One of the other slight problems with our new car, with the Cruiser, that's what we're going to call it, is the bonnet latch cable is broken. It's flopping around and being held on by cable ties. We have bought a new bonnet latch. I think it's the same as the other one. Got no idea. No, I'm going to try and put it in.
So what are you working on now?
We're working on the swivel hubs. Try and replace all the seals and things to stop them from leaking. But at the moment, I'm just taking off the brake caliper. There you go. That's the brake caliper. That's got a fair bit of weight to it. And now we can take that hub bolt off, and that should all come off. Oh, that's heavy. Oh. metal, rubber.
Put it in the green thing.
Felt.
So we've been rebuilding the front swivel hub and front hub there, freewheeling hub, placed all the wheel bearings, kingpin bearings, or all the wipers and seals and everything on the swivel hub. The brakes were still in good nick, and not long ago overhauled the discs and the pads, so they were still in good nick. We did have to butcher a couple of the brake lines actually to get them apart, so we've got to replace a few brake lines which we picked up from Terrain Tamer. So we used the first side here as a bit of a learning exercise, and now we've moved on to the second side, the passenger side, and the lad's doing that one on his own, and he's busy cleaning up all the bits and pieces. Probably 40 years worth of grime and grease, oil leakage, dirt, mud and crap built up over there. He's had his work cut out cleaning that side up. The passenger side was certainly worse. So we got all the bits and pieces that we need for the job: wheel bearing, seals, all the hub seals, brake lines, all the wipers, and a whole rebuild kit actually for the that front swivel hub mechanism. Got it all from Terrain Tamer. That was very helpful actually, making sure we got the right things for what we were doing. Spent a few bucks, be as good as new now. Like all good apprentices, the lad got to spend some quality time in the parts washer. This gave him a chance to understand and learn the intricacies of some of these parts and how they all fit together. What do you got there?
Got the stone guard for the brake rotor. Brake disc, I think. Covered in years and years of built up stuff. 40 years of them to be precise. There's a fair bit to come off. So I'm just cleaning out now. Cleaned all the big stuff, and now I'm just cleaning all the little bolts and nuts and stuff. Came off with some brakes and parts clean. Making sure they're all fresh to go.
Tell us what you're doing.
I am reassembling the swivel hub at the moment. Just putting on the steering arm that hooks onto the tie rod. We'll set all the preloads on the kingpin bearing.
So we've graduated to the back end now. Going to start by putting a wheel bearing kit in the arse end, both sides. We've still got a bit of work to do once we've done all that, bleeding the brakes. Yeah, we're just going to pop it all apart and clean it up, see what it all looks like, refurbish it, give it a bit of love and put it all back together again.
I'm taking the axle out, the short side axle. So I've taken apart both of the brake drums and taken off the hubs, rear hubs, and taken out the axles. We've got the axles there, the hubs there, and the brake drums are on the tray. And I've just whacked in the new bearing races on both of the hubs, and now I'm just waiting for Dad to get back with some grease so he can grease up the bearings and put everything back on. Just packed the grease into the wheel bearings right there on both sides, and now I'm gonna put in the little axle steel on the stub axle. Pouring rain outside, just whacking in the little axle seal. Got to be real gentle with this one currently. There we go. Next step is the hub. Now I've got grease on my fingers. And now I'll just whack all the nuts and washers and things on. Another part of the build is we've got some shocks. Put on the rear and we put them on the front. Yeah, we've got full shocks, all four, and a steering dampener. I've already put the fronts on, and I've already taken the rear ones out. It's time to put these ones in. Look at that. Oh, come with any stickers. Oh, no stickers. Got ripped off there. Got a sleeve, some washers, and this big rubber thing. No idea what most of this does, but I'll figure it out. Get rid of that. I'm not taking it off. Just giving it a rub with some emery cloth. Still won't come off. Got it. Got it. That looks pretty good. And now I'll do the top bit, and then we'll put the shock on. Oh, where's my washer? There it is. That's the wrong light. Might have to find another one of them.
Some of the tasks where we only had one chance of getting it right, the old man dug into his bag of tricks. Bit of a flashback to yesteryear when we used to spend a fair bit of time on the tools. While everything was set up, the lad made the most of it. For the first time got onto an arc welder and ran a few beads.
I don't do too much welding these days because I can't see. It's been a fair while since I've been on the stick welder. I probably use the MIG more often than not these days, but I've been having a trouble with all this high humidity. The roll of wire in the MIG is all out of surface, it's all rusted. I'll have to just go stick this behind it. It's hot. So the hub nut on the rear hub nut, it's got these three dowels. The commercial socket that we could see has fits over there somehow, but has male dowels that fit into the holes to do it up. Now the issue we've got is it's Sunday, not going to get much on a Sunday, but it's also Christmas Eve. Not going to get much on Christmas Eve on a Sunday out this part of the world. And we didn't want to use the butcher method and use a bloody cold chisel or something to torque it up. We decided to make a spanner, a socket, a tool. So what we've got is a 2-inch water pipe fitting. It's actually a cap, and we've put some relief in the side so it fits in, picks up those dowels. Perfect, like that, and then welded just a 1/2-inch socket. Oh, it's a 7/8 socket, doesn't matter what size the socket is, but it's a 1/2-inch drive socket onto it. So we've turned that into effectively a drive that we can use our torque wrench on the socket and torque that up to the proper spec. And you know, we might rarely use it, but we've got it now. It's in the shed, it'll be in the drawer. And we had to also just reduce the outside diameter of that ever so slightly through there. Basically just taking the galvanizing off it really to give it the right size, just to fit into the hub itself without interfering. But I think it's fair to say that that's actually come together quite nicely. When we're finished, we might give this a coat of paint. So it's tool part number JOURNi 01. So look, it's worth just a bit of time. What'd that take? It probably took an hour really, all up. Would have taken me longer to drive to the shops, try and find one, and I wouldn't have found one. Simple, making your own tools.
The only thing left to do was put our new tool to the test. We're mildly surprised that it actually worked.
60. Come on. Oh, it's tight. Right, so we've just run into a bit of a problem. Had to pull the brake bias valve, proportioning valve off the rear. Basically, the more load you've got on the car, the more it moves this lever, which operates a valve in this system here,
and diverts more fluid or less fluid to the back wheels or front wheels, basically. Probably just to the back wheels based on how much weight you've got. I think it is, if the more weight you've got in the back, the more it will apply the back brake. But I couldn't bleed the brakes. The rear brakes just weren't, there's nothing, wasn't getting anything, weren't getting air, wasn't getting fluid, getting nothing. Traced it back, and I was able to bleed this proportioning valve, break that off and getting the air and the fluid out. But it's not distributing it to either of the brake line. I think it's the third one up there. It's not distributing it to that brake line. There's nothing going there. I think what's happening is this valve in the bottom here is seized. It's rusted up. The rubber boot, it's got a big split in it. What I've found is this is completely seized up. There's no movement in that whatsoever in that. I think I'm going to be up for a new proportioning valve. As the lad said, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We're just doing the final bleeding of the brakes, ready to whack the wheels back on and take it for a test run. I guess that's all part of doing these sort of rebuilds, restos, whatever it is.
So we've just replaced the JOURNi joints on the rear drive shaft. Now we'll throw it back in and move on to the front one.
Why did you replace them?
We replaced them because they were a bit flogged out and we needed, well, they wouldn't pass a roadworthy. So, righto, we'll just throw this in and then start on the front.
It was mildly satisfying watching someone else crawl around under a vehicle, lifting heavy things, practicing their contortionist moves, barking their knuckles. I think I might be onto something here.
Got it.
What are you doing now?
Just lining up the little marks we've got on the flange and the, what's this bit called? Other flange at both ends.
Projects like this are all about problem solving. Put it on, take it off, do it up, undo it, swap it around. One thing's for certain though, there's some valuable lessons being learnt, most of it subliminally, and I'm sure one day these new learnings will be called upon to solve other problems. What have you been doing here?
Just been marking out the new floor pan. Now we'll pull this one out and cut the old one out, if I can even get it.
So that's the new one, is it?
This is a new one.
Brand new?
Brand spanking new. Came straight out of the box.
Righto, and what do we got to do here?
Just marked out the outline of it, so we get a rough idea of where to cut. Got it! Still connected.
Unfortunately, the original footage of the lad learning how to spray paint has gone astray. We've had to refer back to this Insta reel. We get the idea. Right, yep. My way, is it? Gotta come on, lift it up. There we go, the last piece of the puzzle, new roof. Later on when we're looking for something to do, we might pop the roof back off and put a roof liner in it. Just get rid of some of that drumming, droning sound. For now, it'll be fine. To get a roadie, we had to do a handful of jobs. Roof was one of them. So the old roof had some rust in the gutters, and it also had historically it looked like it had a spotlight in the roof. Not that that was going to be a problem, I don't think, for the roadie. The rust was the issue. But, in due course, it would have been good to plug that hole. Anyway, we've got a new roof. So we've got to paint it, come primed, so we learned how to paint. Got to put the new seals in around the roof, all just bolts on, so it's pretty easy going. I think there's 9 bolts inside, pulls that roof down, all new gaskets, rubber gaskets. So that's the last piece of the puzzle. We should be right now to take it down and get the roadie signed off. We'll get it on the road. I hope you enjoyed that little video, something a little bit different. Bit of tool time, bit of lad time, bit of lad and dad time. I'll actually use this video as a bit of a shout out and throw down the challenge for all you dads out there to spend more time with your lad. I think it's now more than ever. No, as always, it's important to spend as much quality time with the lad. Lad and dad time is awesome for everyone, for the lad and for the dad. I certainly enjoy it, whether it's on the tools like this video or out and about poking around in the scrub, out in the desert, down the coast, wherever. It's invaluable time, and before we know it, the lad will be leading his own life and heading off doing his own thing, and we'll be left behind. Hopefully he'll give us a shout out and invite us along in his trips. It's certainly invaluable. The opportunity for the lad to spend some time on the tools, tinkering away on a truck like this is, well, it's lifelong experience really. It'll last him forever. The knowledge, learning his way around, some of the basic stuff, and it's good for me too, because I sort of have to revisit some of the things that maybe it's been a while between drinks and don't always sort of tinker. In fact, I hate working on cars, crawling around underneath, rolling around underneath, tying yourself in knot, pain in the ass, but it is fulfilling and quite satisfying, the end result, if it all goes to plan, of course. But anyway, I'm pretty sure the lad's getting a fair bit out of this. You know, we've deliberately picked a vehicle that has 2 of everything. There's a left and a right hand, there's a front and a rear, so we can learn on one corner, then the lad can go to town on the other corner and put into practice all those things that we learnt on the first corner. An old truck like this is you know, it's pretty hard to beat. It's infallible, it's unbreakable, not much can go wrong, there's nothing overly technical, there's certainly no electronics. It's probably the ideal rig really. This will be awesome poking around in the bush in a truck like this, back to basics. There will be a video coming out in due course of maiden voyage, the lad and myself poking around in the scrub. Bit of a mountain trek, few river crossings, few mud holes, great campsite. So that's coming up in a future video, keep your eye out for that one. Anyway, I'll throw the challenge out there. All you dads out there, take the lad under your wing and get stuck into a project. It's awesome time spent together, and I certainly will look back on this forever, and you know, it's a great experience, and I'm sure and I hope the lad looks back on this as a great experience and he'll reflect on it and use the learnings for the rest of his life. I certainly appreciate the times I had over the years poking around in the shed with the old man, and I learned a lot from him and still learning a lot from him actually. Pretty fortunate in that regard. Get out there, dads, spend some time, particularly in this day and age. There's a lot of stuff in the media these days about young blokes, bit of mischief, playing up, not treating others with respect. I think it's time we got some of those basics right. What better way than spending quality time with your lad? Influence from that space rather than, you know, all their influence coming from social media. So that's my challenge. Anyway, we'll pull the pin here. Thanks for watching. Another episode we've enjoyed bringing together. It was over a fair bit of time, probably 6 months in the making this one. Yeah, 6 months, best part of it. Thanks for watching, we appreciate it. Don't forget, if you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. All those things that you observe that we're doing wrong. It is what it is. It's all part of the learning experience. But anyway, leave a comment, we appreciate it. We try to respond to most comments where we can. And most importantly of all, look after yourself. Catch ya.